is a great, wonderful, amazing, incredible day because it's a Germany day. 16 things I hate about living in Germany. Without further ado, let's get into this reaction. Let's go.
I hate Germany is what you will say after you've moved here and have to register at the Ausländerbehörde. When you first come here, of course you will be like, whoa, the bread is amazing, the beer is so good.
Probably.
But then, when you see your taxes, you will feel just like the rest of us. I worked all year and this is what I get to keep? This is nothing! And I think most...
Are taxes that bad? Are taxes worse in Germany than they are in England? I don't really know what your tax situation is in Germany. Is it that high? Let me know in the comment section.
Germans feel that way. We try to love our country, but we hate it. I know I've been responsible for many of you to move here. Many even said the government should pay me for promoting this country. Well, they haven't paid yet, so I'm making this video. It's time to talk about the downsides of our beloved Germany, okay? Let's go. The whole world thinks that Germany has an amazing education system. And that may be true for higher education, like university, but if you look at a normal school system, that is a joke. The German school system was implemented like 100 years ago. The teaching methods they use are 80 years old and nobody has updated them much ever since. And people have been complaining about this for decades. One of the reasons for this problem is that the school system is regulated by the federal states. That means that even if the government wants to change something, they can't because they have to ask the local federal states to implement those rules, and
that's the problem with states. I mean, look at the United States. No, well, you know what I mean? But that's the problem with states because of the kind of divulge power. Like each state has like certain power and hold on certain things. To get a unified way of doing things, a standard across the board is very difficult if you have loads of different, local authorities that have power and say in what they do for their own little enclave of area in their country. And as I don't think it's a bad thing you got states, but like it makes things take more time to do when you have that. Whereas if it's more of a cohesive country and there's not so many middlemen, things get done quicker, is what it is.
And they don't have to if they don't want to. The teaching methods from 80 years ago may have been amazing 80 years ago, but a lot has changed since then and all the teaching techniques in Germany are outdated. You just have to look at the PISA study that judges high schoolers and how they perform. Germany continues to rank really, really bad over there. It's a very...
Really? What was that? Let me see that again.
They perform. Germany continues...
The top rated countries, PISA 2018, is PISA Program for International Student Assessment. Really? Okay, and Germany is below Britain for that. Okay, obviously China, I mean, China's some very intelligent, smart students in China. Singapore's number 2, Estonia, Japan, South Korea, Canada, Finland, Poland, Ireland, and then the UK. We're pretty high. And you guys are all the way down, yeah, pretty far.
Continues to rank really, really bad over there. It's a very difficult situation, and that also leads to a very imbalanced education status of different federal states. For example, if you go to school in the north of Germany, the old East Germany, the schools there are much worse than South Germany, like Bavaria. And this creates another problem. For example, if you're a teacher in Berlin and you want to move to Bavaria, you can't just move there and teach in a school in Bavaria because the regulations and the rules are so different. It is almost impossible to accomplish that, and if you do, it is very, very hard. One would think...
Because obviously you have the skill sets of your certain state and they do things in that state in a certain way. You cannot compete with teachers in the other state because they already know how the system works. So really the competition is really high. Oh no, Germany. That sounds a bit messy. I get it. Oh my God, you got quite a, I don't want to say, I know you guys are being annoyed, but you have a bit in common with the United States of America. You do. A little bit. You do.
Think that Germany, as a first world country, would have great internet. But it is exactly the opposite.
Heard this.
The internet coverage here is worse than in a third world country. Is there a fourth world even? As soon as you sit down on the train and you leave the city, you can forget about internet. You will have to spend 6 hours, 8 hours in the train in Germany without internet for more than 70% of the time. I'm not.
So he's on about a train. Internet on the train is spotty at best. In the UK, it's not much better. When you get on the train, most trains don't even have, a lot of trains don't even have Wi-Fi. And if they say they have Wi-Fi, sometimes the Wi-Fi doesn't even work. So if he's talking about leaving the major city, the UK is not that great either. So don't worry.
I'm not even kidding, this is how bad it is. Every time I'm in a developing country, I'm amazed how good their internet is. A couple of years ago, I was in Myanmar. I took a 14-hour bus ride throughout the middle of nowhere and I had perfect internet for...
He's not lying. He's not lying. I live in Thailand, guys. The internet here is mind-blowing. Like the speeds I get in this country, it's like, what? What? Southeast Asia in general, even in the more developing countries like Cambodia and Laos and Myanmar and stuff like this, internet is great. Internet is great. I don't know what they do with the internet, but the internet's great, and you need the internet because the internet is the foundation of everything now. Everything runs with the internet. So Germany, you need to step your, I was going to say, no, that's a bad word. You need to step up your game. If you knew what I was going to say, write in the comment section, but just make sure you use asterisks to blurt out the word.
For the whole bus ride. And when I got to the destination, I was staying on an island that isn't even on Google Maps and I had perfect internet. How can they manage to have good internet and Germany doesn't? I don't understand. And if you're living in a village in Germany, you can be even lucky to have a DSL connection. Yeah, that's how bad it is. Many people think that Germany is a strict and orderly country. Yeah, and it is true, relative to other countries at least. But there's a little problem coming with that. It's the overregulation. Yeah, Germany is so overregulated in every aspect of life. There is so many rules to follow no matter what you're doing. You want to build a house? There's a book like this with rules and regulations. You want to start a biotech company? Forget it. People are fleeing Germany to start companies. There is licenses and permits for the most ridiculous things one can think of. You want to go fishing? You need a license. You want to fly a drone? You need a license. You want to get a metal detector and look for stuff in the ground? You need a license. Even
I get it. Yeah, it comes with, there's a happy medium between that, isn't there? Over-regulating, over, just, you know, you can sometimes model, have you heard the term model coddling? It's where you basically smother maybe your child and, you know, don't go out there, you might get hurt. Don't climb on the wall, you might fall off, and don't, you know, like, it's like, I think your country maybe is there's too much of a shelter. You know, they model coddle. They model coddle. Google the word. I think probably that. And I think Germany's probably a very safe place to be, very organized place to be, but sometimes that stifles creativity, that stifles progression, and that stifles you know, like entrepreneurship, starting a business, all this red tape that you have to cross before you can do anything can be a bad thing. And I understand why people move to other countries to you know, for it to be easier to start businesses and to, you know, buy property and to do anything. Like, it's the same in England. We're not quite as strict as Germany, but we're not far off. You know, we're siblings. We're a sibling country, so we also have a lot of red tape, and people are leaving the UK. I would love to see the statistics of the past few years of how many people have emigrated, because every time I look around, my friends, people are moving to other countries for various reasons. The red tape being one of them, but obviously taxes and cost of living and all that type of stuff. So, yeah, that is a problem. I could see how, you know, being too regulated can be a downfall of a country like Germany. So,
If you want to cut down a tree to build a house, you need a license to fucking cut down the tree. Isn't that ridiculous? It's become absurd. Pretty much most things in Germany are not fun to do because you need a license for it. So boring. Toilets. I hate toilets in Germany. Now this issue is not exclusive to Germany, but to all of Europe. But anyone who has ever been to Asia or Japan knows there's a different way to use toilets.
Bro, before he gets into this, guys, 1,010%. Okay, I'm just gonna let him say it, and then I'm gonna
just with toilet paper. Yeah. Southeast Asian countries have jet sprays. Japanese toilets have automatic systems to clean your butt. I don't understand how Europe still lives in the last century, but this is unhygienic. It's from the last century. I feel like a caveman using this.
Mate, honestly, there's a lot of things we do really well in Europe. We are ahead of the game in the majority of things in Europe. There's one thing that we need to change and actually just, you know, hang our head in shame and be like, you know what? Maybe Asia's doing that better than us. And that is toilet paper and using the toilet. Why are we still using toilet roll paper to wipe our buttocks? And this is not even a joke. It's a real thing. Think about it. Say you go outside. Say you do some gardening. Say you get your hands really dirty and muddy. Do you go inside and be like, you know what? I need to get some paper and rub it off. Let's rub off this mud with this tissue paper and throw it in the bin. Would you feel like your hands are clean after that? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't even need to ask you that question because you'd be like, no, I need to wash my hands because I can't get this mud off my hands. So then why do we use paper to clean our buttocks when we've had a number 2? Make that make sense. Clearly, a jet stream, a bum gun as I call them, to spray and clean with water is not only more hygienic, but it's just common sense. It makes more sense, no? Honestly, unless you've been to Asia and you've actually experienced like a bidet or a bum gun or a jet wash, it changes your life. It changes your life. I think a lot of men especially are a bit weird about having water sprayed on their bum crack, but it's just better. Honestly.
Something needs to change. This is no way to build a toilet, okay?
Honestly.
Okay, how much?
Remember Snowden and how he revealed that the NSA is doing illegal mass surveillance on its own citizen? Well, the new kid in town is the German security agency, BND. A new law allows them to hack internet providers and eavesdrop on basically anyone legally. That's something to hate, wouldn't you say? Well, good thing that you can do something against that with the help of today's sponsor, NordVPN. Using
Okay, you know what? I give it to him. That was a good segue. Even though all of these YouTubers have NordVPN as a sponsor. Bloody hell. I'm going to skip it with your permission. I'm sure you'll be fine me skipping the sponsor for today. Okay, let's go to this part, shall we?
And now, bureaucracy. You really want me to get started on bureaucracy? Didn't think so. No, I'm not even going to talk about this. You all know how bad it is. And if you don't know, just let me tell you, Germany is probably the country with the most bureaucracy. There's no other country in the world, probably, that has so much paperwork needed to do anything. One thing that annoys not only most Germans, but all foreigners, are German kitchens. Or rather, the lack of it. If you move in a German flat, chances are it doesn't come with a kitchen. In probably like 70% of the times, you will have to bring or buy your own kitchen if you move into a flat. I don't understand, and most people coming here don't understand, why do German kitchens not come installed in the flat?
Honestly, guys, I know I did a video about this. Not about it, but it was in the video when I first learned that you guys do not have kitchens. You bring your own kitchen. And I said in the video, I said, guys, like, there's a lot of things Germans do really well, and I really like respect and like admire the way you do a lot of things. But there's one thing that I'm just like, that's ridiculous and not efficient, and that's like not having a kitchen in a property when you purchase it, or you not even purchase it, when you rent it. It doesn't. It's honestly, it's weird. It's a little bit weird. Because if you go into a house viewing to rent the house, you're looking around to see if the house has facilities that you would like. If there's a kitchen already installed, you could probably charge more for the rent. If it's a kitchen you like, you're going to move in there more likely because you're like, oh, the kitchen's really nice. That's like, I don't know. I guess because you're so used to not having a kitchen and bringing your own, for you it's very normal. But for the rest of the world, it's just a little bit strange. But you know what's funny? We say this, but it's just like the toilet situation with Europe. I'm very used to, because I grew up in England, wiping my bum. Sorry, we could go back to that with tissue paper. Whereas in Asia, they look at that and they come to Europe and they're like, that's so primitive and weird and unhygienic. Why do they do that? And they use their hand to do that. That's horrible. That's disgusting. But for us, we're like, well, what else would we do? That's how we do it. But sometimes I think we're set in our ways and we need to, take advice from outside our comfort zone, from outside our countries. And take it from a Brit. You need to have kitchens installed in your rental properties.
It doesn't make any sense. Who wants to move and bring their own flat? I have moved so many times in my life, and I have moved into a lot of flats without a kitchen, and then you're standing there in the first month or two until you get a kitchen without a kitchen.
Makes no
and then you
sense.
have to eat like just bread from the bakery, which is great, but you don't want to do that for a month, right? If you have the chance, look for an apartment that comes with a kitchen. It will make your life so much easier. Trains. The train system in Germany may be amazing, the infrastructure, but everything else about it, how they handle it, it is horrible. The booking system is terrible, it's expensive, and they are always late. I don't know what's going on, but from year to year, the train system is getting worse and worse. In the last year alone, I took dozens of train rides. I don't remember the last time a train was on time. And it's become so ridiculously expensive. I mean, the trains are cheap if you book them 3 months in advance. But if you want to book a spontaneous train next week or tomorrow, yeah, good luck with that. The German train company, the Deutsche Bahn, punishes people who don't plan ahead. They hate spontaneous people. Last week I almost missed my train from Heidelberg to Berlin, for which I paid €30 because I booked it in advance. And I was looking up on the same day how much will be the ticket if I miss this train. It was €160.
Yep. Wow, it's actually, that's a good thing to know that you guys are dealing with the same problem we're dealing with in the UK. Trains are horrible. Are your trains private, owned by a private company? Our trains are privatized, and it's probably the worst thing we ever did, because train ticket prices are through the roof. Just to get from Leeds to London, and mind you, that's like a 200 miles, something like that, on a train, and you're looking at over like £120 at least return. At least. No, one way sometimes. Actually, I haven't looked recently, but it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And even if you book in advance, sometimes it's still a lot of money. Like, it's so ridiculous. And like he said, our trains are always late. Always late. Why? Because there's like 5, 6, 7 different train companies running these trains, and they just can't keep the schedule. And it's a mess. It's exactly the same. When you come to Asia, I don't mean to bring it back to Asia all the time, and I'm sure he doesn't either, but oh my god, trains are efficient here.
I hate this system. I'm not a planner. I like to take spontaneous trips, you know? But Deutsche Bahn won't allow me to do that. Okay, next. We are going to talk about doctors. A lot of people, rich people from the Middle East, they come here, they fly to Heidelberg to get some operations because Germany has apparently some of the best doctors in the world. And that may be true, but if you're a normal person with a normal health insurance and you want to go to a specialist doctor, you better be prepared to wait for 3 to 6 months to get an appointment. If you want to go to a specialist, there is no way, unless it's like a super emergency and you have to go to the hospital anyway, you will not be able to get a specialist doctor appointment in the near future. So by the time you have the appointment, you're probably healthy again. And even if you just want to go to a normal generalist doctor, chances are they're at full capacity because Germany has such a big doctors shortage. There's not enough doctors for people. Wow. It's really a dreadful situation. I don't know whose fault this is, but it's something to hate.
Interesting, you're dealing with exactly the same problem as us in the UK with our NHS. Like he said, if you want to see a specialist for a certain reason, not only do you have to go through the system and wait, and then the waiting times are ridiculous. Like, you have to see a GP. The GP will refer you to a doctor at a hospital. Then the hospital, say it's like a gastro specialist doctor, then he'll refer you to another doctor, and then they will refer you to this place for an X-ray, and then this place. It's terrible. I don't even want to speak about the NHS. It's so bad, and it sounds like it's the same in your country. So, football.
So many people in Germany are crazy about football. It's always in the news. So many people don't know what else to talk about, and I find it f***ing boring, and I hate it. Germany has a lot of political parties to choose from.
Oh, wait, he just skipped past football that quick. He really doesn't like football. It's the same in our country, in the UK. As you know, where football's from, Britain invented football. Yeah, we're a football mad country, and yeah. I'm not a big fan of football either. I am. I watch it when there's a World Cup or the Euro, but I wouldn't just voluntarily watch football like a Premier League or anything like that. But I would watch my country play. I don't mind it. We're a football country.
Germany has a lot of political parties to choose from, which is better than the USA, for example, where you have only 2 options. But unfortunately, all those parties are kind of similar and very conservative. The political environment is a joke, to be honest. They all talk about the same conservative things, and they disagree in very small details. It's been decades since there was an innovative party who wanted to change something in the country for the better or had a vision for the future. Now, what the parties are trying to do is just not break the country, but they're not trying to make it better.
Change!
Interesting. So Germany is quite conservative, and there's not really any juxtaposition. There's not really any conflict between 2 sides because they kind of fight over small things because they're on the same, they both lean right. So all your parties lean kind of right. Interesting. We do have a bit more of this going on. And I feel like we're a bit like America in that we have a 2-party system, as in those 2 parties are always the majority. So even though we have loads of other parties, really it's either Labour or the Conservatives. Who wins? Like, I don't even know why we have other parties, because it's only one of 2. it's kind of like an illusion of having choice, but we don't have choice. Yeah, interesting.
Is bad. Everything stays as it is.
Totally, yeah, what he said. Wait, what did he say? It really doesn't matter which party you vote for. You can be sure nothing in this country will change. And that is in part because of all the bureaucracy and the regulations. Even if a party wants to change something significant, they can't. It takes forever to implement new laws. Nothing cool is gonna come out of that. Everybody was looking forward to the legalization of weed in Germany. They promised it, and now they gave us a plan on how this will look. And everybody is disappointed because it's not what they promised. We can be sure to wait another 10 years for the results.
No, it's legal. It's legalized now. When was this? One second. Okay, this was 8 months ago. So, weed's legal now. So actually, it wasn't as bad as we thought. Let me know how that's going. I really want to know how that's going. I know like a lot of... It's very strange that your country is the first kind of... Well, not the first country in Europe, clearly, but like... Yeah, I just find it weird that you legalized weed before the UK. When you're a very conservative country. I wonder why that is. I've heard, though, not conspiracy, it's actually true, that the UK is actually the biggest exporter of cannabis in Europe. It's just that we export it. Yeah, we export it. And for whatever reason, because everything's down to money, right? Like, that's why things get legalized. So I guess they're making so much money off it anyways. They're not really bothered about legalizing it. There has to be a reason why we're not. But yeah, apparently we're the biggest exporters of cannabis. Interesting, right?
Another bad example is the digitalization. For 20 years, they promised to make things more digital.
Digitalisierung.
Digitalisierung.
Digitalisierung. Digitalisierung. Digitalisierung. Digitalisierung.
Digitalisierung.
That you can do more things online. And it's happening slowly, but if you look at other countries, we're basically living in a stone age here. Germany comes across as a country that cares about free speech a lot, but its newspapers are a joke. They all seem influenced by the government and told to not cover any too controversial topics or publish anything that goes against German government interests. Tesla is being the best.
It's funny because our newspapers are controlled more by our royal family rather than the government. I'm sure the government has a little bit of a say as well. But yeah, the newspapers and the royal family are very intertwined. So not too dissimilar.
Best example here, they have been ridiculed in the German media for years. They were made fun out of for so many different stupid things, you wouldn't even believe it. Because they were a threat to the German automotive industry, of course. Only when they started building this gigafactory here in Berlin, that changed a little bit. And if something bad happens, like the gang rape 2 months ago here in Berlin, you can be sure that the newspapers will not publish who the offenders were. And of course, who told them not to? It's those guys over there, because they fear an uprising in the population. Taxes. Germany has some of the highest taxes in the world. For every euro you earn, you can be sure not to even keep half. The tax freedom day in Germany is in mid-July. In the USA, it is in May, for example, 2 months earlier. And if you don't know what a tax freedom day is, it is in May, for example, 2 months earlier. And if you don't know what a tax freedom day is, that day points to that moment in the year until you have worked only to pay your taxes. By the official government calculation, this day is in mid-July, but they are missing a few variables there that we have to pay, like the Rundfunkbeitrag or the VAT on food and clothes and normal
14%.
goods. If you take those into account, this day would actually be in September, meaning that we have to pay 70% taxes only. And apart from that, we have taxes for the most ridiculous things. We have a dog tax. You have to pay taxes for your dog. And another ridiculous one.
Wait, no. You pay dog tax? What the hell is dog tax? I'm sorry. You pay dog tax? What's that? That's wild to me. Oh my God. That is wild to me. Mate, no. They could never do that in the UK. The UK is a nation of animal lovers, but dog in particular. We're a nation of dog lovers. You could never put a tax on our dogs. I'm sorry. They would be rioting in the streets. When did that happen? When did they put that in place? Dog tax. I'm still shocked. Wow. Jesus. And where do the taxes go for that? What are that? We're making our streets dog friendly. Like, what do they do with your taxes? Please let me know in the comment section. That is wild.
This one is the church tax. Yeah, the government.
The church tax. But what if you're not What if you're not religious? What if you're an atheist? You have to pay taxes to the church. Oh, I'm angry for you, Germany. I'm sorry. Like, what the hell is this about? That's weird. Oh my God.
Government is collecting taxes
No pun intended.
for the church. And where's all this taxpayer money going? We Germans have no idea. It's not going into digitalization, it's not going into the school system, the military is a joke. Where does all the money end up? I would like to know. Next. Did you know
shocked,
that
guys.
Germany is a country of employees? If you are an employee, you're in heaven here. Employee heaven, that is. Employee protection is insane here. If you have a job, it's very hard to get kicked out of that. Yes, you pay a lot of taxes, but you enjoy a lot of benefits as well. If you're interested more in why it is so great to be an employee here, you should watch this video right here. But on the other hand, what sucks big time is if you want to be an entrepreneur, a freelancer, someone with no employee contract, yeah? If you want to live a life like that, the government has a lot of rules for you, oh yeah, and a lot of bureaucracy to fill out. So yeah, if you want to start a business in Germany, I would not recommend that because it's a pain in the ass. I don't know why the German government hates people who want to be self-employed and want to start a startup. And yeah, it has become a bit easier in the last few years, but it's still just the bureaucracy of it. It's a nightmare.
That's not good because that stifles development, doesn't it? If you have a nation of employees, you know, you need people to innovate. You need people to start new companies and new businesses. And I understand in Germany you have like some amazing like corporations that are really like legacy corporations that have been around for a very long time, very old brands. But you can't rely on old brands because what happens then is like you only have old brands, and what happens is other countries come out with new brands, competitive brands, and take over your brands. You know, like just because in the past 60 years BMW has been this force to be reckoned with, or you know, other, you know, VW or other German makes, Adidas and all these brands have been at the top. It doesn't mean for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years they're still going to be at the top. You need innovation. You need new brands coming in. You need entrepreneurs. Otherwise, countries get stifled by other countries. So that's worrying for Germany in that sense, you know. I understand why, though. Like I said, you have a lot of historical big brands that keep the clocks and the wheels turning, the cogs and the wheels turning. But in the future, you need to be at the forefront of things. So
if you enjoy being an employee, Germany is an amazing country. You have great employee protection, you have a lot of holidays, you have maternity leave, parental leave, you name it. But I don't want to be an employee, so I hate it here. You know what the national sports here in Germany is? No, it's not football. It's
it's what?
Complaining. We Germans, we love to complain. And I'm the first one in line. A German will always find something to complain about. Even if he has the perfect life, he will find something to complain about. Yeah, we Germans are living in a great country relative to all the other countries, but we still think it sucks here. If you talk to a random German, you can be sure that 50% of what he is saying, he is complaining about something, whether it may be work, his family, or the government. If complaining would be in the Olympics, we would win every single year. Just look.
I don't think we'd win, but we'd come like second place or third place. If you speak to a Brit, there's always some sort of complaint. Oh, the weather's the weather's shit. The government. I wasn't going to swear, but I'm going to swear anyways. The government shit. Like, there's always something to complain about with a Brit as well. But I think you guys have got us beat on that.
Just look at a statue. Yeah, if a German looks at it, yeah, he will not say, "Oh wow, this is amazing. It's so great." He will look at it and say, "Is that real gold? Are they wasting it on this statue? It's too shiny anyway that way. And why is it in the middle of the road? It's blocking the way for all the people on the bikes here. And why is the city wasting all the money to build this? They could spend this money much better." Yeah, and I hate my life and existence itself. Many people dream of Germany. They dream of coming here to live here, to work here. But the truth is, Germany is a country of mediocrity. Yeah, you heard me right. Germany has become, because of all the regulations and the bureaucracy, a country of mediocrity. The country has no vision, no ambition, no leadership. Germany used to be a country of great poets, scientists, musicians. What is it now? It is a country full of people complaining and being negative.
I don't agree with that. You know what? It's funny because I literally just bumped into a German couple, young couple, literally yesterday. And they were so nice. He was so smiley, she was so smiley, but then again, they're on holiday and they're in Thailand, so. But they were lovely. They were so nice. So nice. But I hear what he's saying about Germany in the sense of, like I said earlier, just, being too comfortable. When you become comfortable, that's when things go wrong. And I think Germany is very comfortable, very safe, and they want to maintain that. They want to maintain... I mean, you've had such a crazy past, right? So being comfortable, being safe, not really shaking things up too much. I can see why Germany would be like that. And I don't think it's the worst thing. There are worse places to live on earth than Germany. In fact, Germany is a really good place to live from what I've watched, so...
Just look at the statistics of people who won the Nobel Prize in Germany. Before 1950, Germany was the country who won regularly the most Nobel Prizes in the world, and ever since it's just going down and Germany is being left behind. It's sad, really. Makes me sad. Alright, despite all that, Germany is still a very decent place to live, at least if you like bread and sausages. If you don't, probably not. And if you have more things that you hate about Germany, please let the others know in the comments below.
To be his face. To be fair, he is someone that has he travels outside of Germany all the time, and I think if you're someone that travels outside of your country to get away from things that you don't like about your country, you are probably going to lean to being a little bit more negative about it. Whereas I'm from someone that's not from Germany and I've never been to Germany. I hate saying that. Feels so wrong to say that I've never been there because I'm from England and it doesn't make sense, but I've never been to Germany, so I have probably like a more of a positive outlook and really fascinated about your culture and everything. So yeah, I'm probably a lot more positive about Germany than he is, but I get it. If someone asked me about England and all the things I don't like about in England, I would have a lot to say. Anyways, guys, have a great day, have a great evening wherever you are. Until the next one, I will see you very soon.